Nicer backdrop. It's just are we live yet? Man. Okay. All right. I'm just trying out doing the lives off my computer because my phone is not cooperating with me this morning. I don't know why. Technical issues. Um, and I was going to put you guys on the toaster again, but it was a bit too wobbly, and you could see all my dirty dishes, which is a bit disgusting. So here we are on the floor instead. Yeah, now on the kids' table, and where everyone wants to be on Christmas Day, by the way. Uh, so yeah. Um, all right. So overnight, one of my cousins, Godfrey, who is a very funny man, messaged me and was very apologetic when he was asking me for help with advice on how to get back into academic writing when you've been out of the university system for a while. Yes, and this is something that I have worked on a lot with people. So quite happy to talk about it actually, and talk about writing in general, because one of the awesome things about being an art student is that you get to write a lot. Well, that it's a pleasure and a pain all at once. So I'll go into that a little bit more in a minute. But yeah, one of the things I was thinking about was the kind of feedback you get. And you just have to be prepared for people to be critical of your work. So don't be precious about it. Hello. Yeah, don't be precious about it. I was thinking I'll just be open about the kinds of comments I've got from my graders and supervisors over the years. So Pat Grimshaw said that I wrote like a sledgehammer, which I kind of like that one. And then Penny Edmonds said I wrote like I was still in the 19th century or something like that at one stage. So over the years, my writing's changed. When I started, I really wanted my writing to be accessible by anybody and easy to read and engaging. And I remember trying out different strategies. I think it was with Barry Carr at La Trobe when I was in third year. It might have been honours year when we were doing some coursework. And he was like, just let loose and have fun with it. And I wrote this opening line about, like gumnuts in a bushfire, revolutions burst into action across South America or something like this. And I just thought, oh, this is an exciting opening line, but really so lame. Anyway, so you can have some fun with academic writing and try and catch your lecturer's attention in that way. But I would also encourage you to get on with the job. And there's a few different types of essays that you'll write in history. Okay, so one that I've just given another family member feedback on is a primary source analysis, which is part of why I did that. Oh my goodness, Tintin. Part of why I did that talk about primary sources yesterday. So that one is where you kind of analyse the perspective that's being put forward. Excuse me. A perspective that's getting. If I get cut off, it's not my fault. It's the baby. Hi. Yeah. So primary source analysis is one thing, and then you'll get your research essays. So research essays will come with a question that you need to answer, and Bizzles, I really don't want you playing with the keyboard. Okay, so yes, with a research essay, you need to build an argument in response to that essay question. And you should be positioning your argument in the introduction and then using every single paragraph in the body of the essay to build that argument and put forward evidence that will support it. So that's where your primary evidence comes in, primary source evidence, and then also you draw in the research of historians, the secondary sources to support you too. So if you find a historian who's on the same wavelength as you, then that's all the better, because then you can go, well, this guy's already argued this point anyway, so obviously I'm right. Or if you find a great quote from a primary source, that's always a bit exciting, and you can go, please don't. They're not really for eating. Pretend to eat the ice cream. Lost my train of thought now. Research essays, arguments. Anyway, okay, so just make sure you build an argument and then use your analysis. Oh, that's right. Good quotes from primary sources. So if you find a really good quote, then you want to kind of introduce it and then put in some of your own analysis. And as much as possible, use your own words and paraphrase. Take it with this crayon. Paraphrase as much as possible and use your own words, because that's when whoever's reading it will see that you've actually thought about what you're writing. The other trap I see people fall into, which I was guilty of as well, is trying to write in too fancy of a way that your point gets completely lost. So don't feel like you have to use big words. If you're writing a history essay at university, just keep it simple and your point will come across much more forcefully. And that's what you want. You want your argument to be nice and clear and for people to understand what you're trying to convey. So don't feel like you need to use your thesaurus too much. What else was I going to say? Okay, so one trick I used when I was really just trying to work on my writing skills and building a clear essay structure was to use the first line of each paragraph to further your argument, and then have a quote from a primary source and then a bit from secondary sources. So there's kind of a methodical approach to it that you can use. And it's okay to kind of test that and build on it from there. And hey, Vinaka, Bula Tarisi. I'm just going over some essay writing tips because I know a lot of people are working on research essays at the moment and starting to get back into writing again. Yes. So yeah, you want to build your argument and then reinforce it in the conclusion. Don't introduce new information in the conclusion. Oh, don't. So yeah, trying to think of any other advice I've got. You'll find your own voice again if you're coming back to writing after a while, and it might feel a little bit clunky to start with, but it's just about practice. The other thing I used to do was actually write out all my ideas and then cut out each paragraph and shuffle them around to see what would be best to build my argument to the conclusion, because sometimes in the first grab it didn't really flow well. And the other thing I do is read my essays aloud so I can pick up any clunky sentences that don't make any sense. So that can also help when you are not so confident with grammar, or you're worried about punctuation being in the right place and that sort of thing. Vinaka, Catherine. And thanks for those articles the other day too. They're so cool. Yeah, it's really great that those things are getting put up in the Fiji Times at the moment. And I've put them into the website for the Fijian history course. So thank you, Vinaka. Oh, it's out of mischief. It's good. So that's that. And then the other type of essay you might get is a reflective essay. So that's where you can bring in your ideas even more than you did in the research essay and think reflectively about the content and your own learning journey through the semester. Or at least that's what I hope to see when I'm marking them, is to see that your ideas have shifted, or that you've been on a little bit of a process of changing and growing and transforming your thinking. So those are, reflective essays are often a broad question that will allow you to engage with a number of topics from across the course. So yeah, if you're doing a university history course, then that's likely something that you'll come across. If there are any other types of essays that you're finding you're getting as a history student, let me know if you want me to talk about those. Referencing is a whole other kettle of fish, and I can put in some notes on that at some stage. But those, I think, are my best tips for history essay writing. Make sure that you do the research. You can ask questions like, how many sources do you want to see used in this assignment? Usually that's in the course outline anyway for each level, because as you progress through your course, there's going to be different expectations there. Another good thing to keep in mind is just to know that you need to edit your essay. Don't think that you can have one go at writing it and that it will come out fine. Make time to edit, because it will pay off in the end. And do things like tidy up your footnotes and your referencing, because that's one of the first things that a marker will notice. And it might seem so trivial, but if you've got untidy referencing, it's especially if you've got someone who's been in academia for a while, it will drive them a little bit up the wall, most of the time anyway. The other thing I wanted to say this morning was that I'm seeing a lot of comments coming through about the state of the tertiary education sector and in the aftermath of COVID-19, or not aftermath, but in the what can we say, in the waves that are coming through. So a lot of casual staff are getting let go. I just want to encourage people to not get used for free through this, because you don't have to. There was a tweet last night that I saw which was asking people to work voluntarily, and we've all got people to feed and bills to pay. So I'm a little bit concerned seeing that kind of thing. I would love to hear what everyone's experiences are. Yeah, but I'm thinking of everyone who's in that position at the moment and trying to navigate it. Universities are not the easiest places to work sometimes. In a lot of ways, they're very privileged spaces, but they're not always easy. So, yeah, just look after yourselves and your colleagues. And yeah, I'll look forward to talking to you all later, and hope you have a good day. I think we're going to go for another walk. The sun's come out. It looks like it's going to be a nice day. And yeah, I think I've got a nappy to change back here. Good times. All right, bye.